Josh Giddey shot almost 40% from three on 4 attempts a game in the 24 to 25 NBA season. After struggling for his entire career, has he found the solution? Is this real? Is he going to shoot 40% for the rest of his career? No. The box score and the statistics are lying straight to your face. The modern NBA fan has gotten so much smarter over the past 10 years. All of these advanced statistics that have been popping up over the past 5 years help you understand who a player is and what he does on the court, but it's not the full picture. Josh Giddey is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. If you took his stats at face value, 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, you would think he's much better than he actually is. You might even wonder why the Chicago Bulls haven't paid him the $30 million that he's asking for. But when we dive deeper into how people guard him and what his play style actually is, you'll completely understand why no team is willing to pay him $30 million a year. I want to go back to what I was talking about at the start of the video. Josh Giddey was shooting almost 40% in the 24 to 25 NBA season. Now, if you're paying attention to the clips that I'm putting on screen right now, you'll notice that Josh Giddey is almost always wide open on all of his made threes. If you haven't watched Josh Giddey all season, you might look at that 40% three-point clip and you might think, hey, he finally got good at shooting threes. He finally figured out his jump shot, and you would be wrong. Josh Giddey is still the same player he was on the OKC Thunder, who got played off the court and benched in Game 5 of the playoffs. Players like Josh Giddey thrive because the scouting report tells other players to not guard him on the three. This means that players do not close out on him nearly as hard as they do on somebody who is a proven three-point shooter. If you watch a ton of NBA basketball, you might be thinking, this is a dumb conversation to be having. But I implore you to look at the conversation revolving around Josh Giddey. So many people seem to think that this is not a random jump. This is going to be him for the rest of his career. Maybe he won't shoot 40%, but maybe he figured out his jump shot enough to shoot 36, 37% on decent volume. You'd be completely wrong because as soon as the playoffs come, or as soon as people realize that he is willing to take threes, they'll start to close out on him so much more. Now, this is the reason why I made this video. I think that people don't take into consideration the scouting report and what the NBA players view another player as into consideration very often. I feel like this happens all too often with people in the NBA media space talking about certain players like they're much better than they actually are, and talking about certain players like they're actually much worse than they are. I feel like in NBA discourse, we've kind of strayed away from talking about what a player brings to a championship level team or a playoff team in general. If you put Josh Giddey at his current state right now at 22 years old, he would not fit on most playoff teams and he would be played off the court 9 times out of 10. Now, this isn't just me hating on Josh Giddey for no reason. As I said, the 23 to 24 playoffs showed us and the OKC Thunder, who traded him away, who Josh Giddey really is. He was a starting guard for the OKC Thunder in the playoffs, and he proved that he could not be on a playoff court against a comparable team. With bad defense and being a shooting liability, he was played off the court and was benched in Game 5. Somebody who's asking for $30 million yearly should not be able to be played off the court, but for some reason, he is asking for $30 million a year. Josh Giddey and players like him are a weird archetype in the NBA. Somebody who is a very good player, but not good enough at the things that matter. Josh Giddey's bad at defense, he's not good at shooting, but he is a very good playmaker, and he can handle the ball pretty well. This would make you think that he's a lot better if you just looked at his statistics. Obviously, he can get points, he can get rebounds, he's very tall as a guard, and he can be the best playmaker on the court, but he can't be the lead ball handler. He can't be the main function of your offense. I don't really want to just rag on Josh Giddey for 5 minutes, so I'm going to switch the view over to another player who I think fits this pretty equally. This player is also still a free agent, and if I told you that he was scoring 22 points a game on good efficiency, you'd be like, how is this guy not getting paid $30 million a year? Just like Josh Giddey, Cam Thomas doesn't provide enough value on the court to warrant $30 million a year, nor does it warrant him to be on the court 30 minutes a game on a good team. While Cam Thomas and Josh Giddey aren't great players, they still are very good. And I think that they could thrive on a bad team for the rest of their career and make decent money. But I don't know if that's what they want to do. I think that Josh Giddey wants $30 million a year and wants the opportunity to win. Same with Cam Thomas. But the current players that they are right now could not be a valuable player on a championship level team, nor do I think that they could be on a playoff team and contribute significantly. A good comparison for Cam Thomas would be somebody like Jalen Green. He wants to be a scorer, but he's not the best at defense. He's not the best at playmaking. So he doesn't provide enough value to warrant him being on a great team like the Rockets, who they just traded away for Kevin Durant, a more consistent scorer, and a better defender. Obviously, Jalen Green is still very young. So is Cam Thomas, and so is Josh Giddey. And I think that they could maybe mold themselves to be a player on a playoff team. But in their current mold right now, unless they're willing to change, they will never succeed on a playoff team. And I don't think that they'll make the $30 million a year that they're asking for or make more money in their career. Conversation is very interesting to me, and I think it's more important than ever to have this conversation about players before teams are willing to pay them absurd amounts of money. If the Chicago Bulls or the Brooklyn Nets pigeonhole themselves into paying each of them $30 million a year, that is going to mess up their salary cap for years to come. And I think that teams are starting to get a little bit smarter on who they pay these $30 million contracts to. Now, I hope that both of these players get their money, and I hope that both of them become a better player and eventually maybe win a championship, get some good success in the league. But currently, Josh Giddey, Cam Thomas, and Jalen Green cannot provide winning basketball to a good team. That's going to be all for this video. I hope it made sense. Honestly, I kind of went on a tangent there at the end of the video, but I hope it made sense of what I was saying about how the box score lies to you sometimes. I did just order a new microphone, so the audio quality should get better in my next upcoming videos. I want to thank you for watching. The next two videos are going to be my Eastern Conference standings predictions and my Western Conference standings predictions, so look out for that this weekend.